my amigos. Oh yeah, my amigos. Welcome back, kids. Oh yeah, my amigos. It's been a while. It sure has. You guys are looking good, my amigos. So listen here, kids. Alright. I will say that we are back to normal and better than before. Back to normal and better than before, my friends. My spirits are high. I just got back home from a tournament in San Ramon, California. I'm not going to tell you the results, obviously, because, you know, I have to edit that footage and then post it. You don't want me to ruin it for you, do you, kids? No, of course not, Mikey. So, my spirits are very high because I played at a very tight course, uncomfortable course, short course, albeit, and yet I maintained, and my swing is not only back to normal, but it is better than what I had a couple of months ago. Now, most of you guys know that I've been struggling for quite some time now, and this is my range session. I believe this is Monday afternoon, so that would have been probably around the 19th of April. And Wednesday of this week, I just had this epiphany. And then, pow, just like that, everything was fixed. Now, it didn't stick because it takes a long time for things to stick. And by the way, I've got a document that I've been wanting to read. Let's get to it. How long does it actually take to form a new habit? Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon in the 1950s when he began noticing a strange pattern among his patients. When Dr. Maltz would perform an operation like a nose job, for example, he found that it would take the patient about 21 days to get used to seeing their new face. Similarly, when a patient had an arm or a leg amputated, Maxwell Maltz noticed that the patient would sense a phantom limb for about 21 days before adjusting to the new situation. These experiences prompted Maltz to think about his own adjustment period to changes and new behaviors, and he noticed that it also took himself about 21 days to form a new habit. Maltz wrote about these experiences and said, "These and many other commonly observed phenomena tend to show that it requires a minimum of about 21 days for an old mental image to dissolve and a new one to gel." In 1960, Maltz published that quote and his other thoughts on behavior change in a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. The book went on to become a blockbuster hit, selling more than 30 million copies, and that's when the problems started. You see, in the decades that followed, Maltz's work influenced nearly every major self-help professional from Zig Ziglar to Brian Tracy to Tony Robbins, and as more people recited Maltz's story, like a very long game of telephone, people began to forget that he said a minimum of about 21 days and shortened it to, it takes 21 days to form a new habit. And that's how society started spreading the common myth that it takes 21 days to form a new habit, or 30 days, or some other magic number. It's remarkable how often these timelines are quoted as statistical facts. And I will admit that I have done it very much until I looked it up. It makes sense why the 21 days myth would spread. It's easy to understand. The time frame is short enough to be inspiring, but long enough to be believable, and who wouldn't like the idea of changing your life in just 3 weeks? The problem is that Maxwell Maltz was simply observing what was going on around him and wasn't making a statement of fact. Furthermore, he made sure to say that this was the minimum amount of time needed to adapt to a new change. So, how long does it really take to build a new habit? Backed by science, on average, it takes more than 2 months before a new behavior becomes automatic. 66 days to be exact. How long does it take a new habit to form can vary widely depending on the behavior, the person, and the circumstances. It took anywhere from 18 days to 254 days for people to form a new habit. This is an article that I'm going to come back to. I just wanted to read a little bit of it because I felt that it was pertinent to what has been happening to me within the last 2 months. So, my amigos, now you see, here it is. This is the range session from today's tournament. And what I do have to say is that this swing is so much better. The adjustments that I've made, I just went back to my old swing. What I do have to say, guys, is that I'm going to stop listening to comments and people talking about, Mikey, you gotta do this, you're doing that wrong, blobbity, blobbity, blobbity. I sought advice from maybe too many people, and I felt that I needed to match what the majority of the pros are doing. That's not the case, guys. Stick with your swing if it is working. Stick with your swing if it is working. If you're having trouble, then make small adjustments. Another thing that I've adjusted, and I think I've needed this for a long time, is that I adjusted my putting stroke because I was pulling the ball consistently. So I started going left hand low, and then I placed the ball a little bit back of where I used to be, so it's not at my front foot anymore. I do have to say that I'm very happy with the changes. I apologize that I haven't been uploading. I've been extremely busy with voiceover, which is fantastic. I will start another round of classes at the Groundlings very soon. And I think that's kind of it, guys. You're seeing my swing today as it looks today. And man, do I feel so much better. So much better than what I had been shooting for quite some time. I was lost for a while. I was watching professionals and what they do, and I figured I would give it a shot. I knew it would be a little bit troublesome. I didn't realize that I would go into a deep, deep hole of confusion and frustration, and I'm finally climbing out of it, so that's the really good news. So that's it! Oh yeah! Thanks so much for tuning in, kids! Stay tuned! We'll be back with more content, news stories, competition vlogs. We will be playing in Las Vegas very soon, so that is going to be great. 3 days in Las Vegas. You know that's the trip that we usually take. Oh yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys.